Hey, figured out how to clamp the jig down to where it doesn't move. I still hadn't worked out a way to connect my shop vac in to collect the dust yet. I'm working on that one. What I'm doing today is I'm taking 1/2 inch square dowels or rods or sticks, whatever you want to call this, and I'm putting it in a socket like this, whatever I can make fit, and then I'm running it through the jig rough to show you that you can take a square rod and turn it into a nice dowel. The finish is a little rougher. I've done a couple. I've done 2 so far. This one came out kind of rough, it chunked up, but this is not good wood that I'm using. This is actually scrap wood that wouldn't work for the 3/4. It had so much issues I couldn't run it for 3/4, so I cut it down and got what I could good out of it to make 1/2 inch. And what I learned on doing the first one was run it through the 9/16 cutter first, then take it out and run it through the 1/2 inch cutter. It's about the same as taking it to your router and routering it on your router table and taking these square edges off and turning it into somewhat of a dowel. And if you're really good, you can make dowels that way. This is just a little easier and faster for me to run a bunch of rods, and normally I would run this through my router first to take the edge off, but I didn't want to set it up this morning, so I'm not. And what I'm doing is just I'm running tests to see what works, what's just faster, what's easier. I do think routering the edge to make it somewhat round on the router is better than doing it this way. But this is just to show you can do it this way, and I'm sure if you had a little better quality wood than what I got, like I said, I just ripped this down to 1/2 inch pieces, and as you can see, it's not very good. It's really rough wood and stuff, but this was just some scraps I had, and I'm using it for testing purposes and seeing how it goes. So let's run one and see what you think. Doing this like I'm shooting pool. I'm not using the guide. I found it's a little bit easier as long as you get it straight and you keep a steady hand. Yep. Failure one. Drop down to 11/16 socket, and I'm gonna go for failure 2. As you can see, this wood's already, if you look real close, you can see it's split. So this may blow apart. Yep. I'm gonna keep chunking till if I can get things to work right. not terribly bad. This part of it's pretty bad, but this was a bad rod to start with. But I did get that much of a pretty decent rod out of it. I can sand that down to a 1/2 inch, and I found it's easier to stop a little over. Like if I want a good 1/2 inch, it's really clean, really smooth with a polished grain, stop at 9/16 and sand it down to the 1/2 inch. And that's very doable by just taking a piece of sandpaper like this, stick it in there. As you can see, the grain looks really nice in there, and I'm sorry, this is all the light I have in this shop. I don't have a really good light, but that turned out really clean. Just to demonstrate how I get this socket off, and that's a square cut dowel, I found that works a little better. It gets in there a lot tighter. I take a punch, just stick in the end of my socket and tap it loose. Alright, the way I'm prepping these rods to get them ready, being square, I take a razor knife and I just shave off the corners a little bit. These rods were cut to just a 1/16 inch over 1/2 inch. So they are a 9/16 rod. But I want to take it down to a 1/2 inch, so I want a little fat on it, I found, because that helps for any little tear outs and stuff. You can sand 90% of it out that way. Sorry about that, a little malfunction with the camera. Got it back up and going. I'm going to run, this will be my last run for this video. So let's see how we do. Came out really, really nice. Really nice. I'm very happy with this one. That came out really nice. Let me turn off my back. As you can tell, I'm very crowded. I pretty much have to move something every time I do something to do something else. Till I get roll around tables for all my tools, because I have quite a bit of stuff, just as you can see, crammed around. But until I get it all set up where I can move it around and get all this wood that I got piled up back here either used up or moved to a different storage spot, I'm kind of at the mercy of what I do in here. So anyway, this rod came out, that's not sanded or anything, and that looked really good. This is probably the best rod I've turned out. It's almost perfectly round all the way down. There's a little bit of a flat spot right there. If you look real close, you can see, and it starts right about here, but all of this is nice and round. I'm extremely happy. This was by far the best rod I had, which this was one of the best pieces of wood I had. I also, this stuff pushes so easy, you can actually over force it, and that's what causes the tear out. And I'm learning this myself. I'm having to keep from pushing. I'm just letting it, trying to get that feel when it feels just like right, and it goes so smooth. It's almost like you're not pushing at all. And it's a balancing act. You got to find that fine point to where it feels good to you. But this little rig works really well. I'm extremely happy with it. It's not perfect. It's not perfectly in line for something that I threw together in 2 days. I couldn't be happier. I just realized I don't even have my bit set in here square. It's a little bit out of square. So that's some of my that's on me. That's something I did. I didn't even notice that when I threw it together, that I'm just slightly out of square, and I don't want to pull it apart because, you know, you never line holes back up, and this piece is glued in, but it's feeding so close, I'm not going to argue with it. And I also oversized these holes, and I tapered them so when it comes and it's a little off, it'll hit and push into the hole. And so far everything has been working really good on that. So I hope this helps you, and I wish I didn't use the word so much because it bothers me when the news lady does it. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this. I hope it helps you out, and hopefully you'll come up with something way better than what I did. So enjoy woodworking.